Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah,
Uh,
but I'm not like a MAGA cultist, though. I could be persuaded.
oh, okay. Why do you support Donald Trump?
Just given the options, I would say he like is way better than everybody else I could have voted for at the time.
She is?
He is, I meant to say.
Okay. Why so?
Um, so
Kamala.
Kamala was, from what I understand, had like hypocritical points of views, like on policies and such, when she used to be a lawyer and put people in prison for that. But mostly, I like Trump's recent signing of the Big Beautiful Bill, which stopped like citizenship for people who were just born here but don't have parents here. Is that right?
Are you pro law and order?
Um,
Do you want to enforce the law?
yeah.
Oh, it's only wrong when Kamala Harris does it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so terrible when Kamala Harris does it, but when Donald Trump does it,
When he breaks the law.
yeah, like you just said that it was wrong for Kamala Harris to enforce the law, right?
Um, well, to be fair, I was parroting a point. The main thing was the Big Beautiful Bill.
Okay, sure. Then, what do you support about it? The decreasing after-tax income for the bottom 20% of income earners and giving massive tax breaks disproportionately to the rich and wealthy, cutting 10 million people plus off their health insurance, millions of people off their food stamps. Which one? Which part?
Okay, so the cutting people off of food stamps, that saves a lot of money.
Saves money. So, did you know that this bill adds $3.4 trillion to the debt?
Um, well, yeah, but that makes up for it.
No, it
That's
doesn't. No, that's debt. That's debt-related spending. Even taking into account the revenue generated specifically from cutting of the food stamps and, what's it called? Medicaid.
well, given it's been very little time. Over time, not spending that money will add up, and we've already spent a lot on it.
That doesn't save us very much money, and no, it doesn't. I'm taking that into account. The Congressional Budget Office said, even taking into account all the revenue generated from that ever, right, it will still add 3.4 trillion to the debt.
Okay, so
So you're
you're
net
worried about.
increasing the debt.
Okay, but I'd assume you're mainly worried about the people who lost the food stamps who now would have to find other ways to get food, right? But don't you believe that those people would find ways to make the money and find food, so eventually that problem would solve itself?
I think that people should have access to food, and people didn't get it prior. I think people are going to go starving to a greater extent, and I think that's bad.
Yeah, but people will
And if
probably
you
work more
wait,
to
what
compensate.
what benefit do you get from cutting food stamps? You said you were saving money. No, you're not. This adds to the debt by 3.4 trillion.
Well, the government itself saves money.
No, it doesn't. It literally
Anyways,
doesn't. It literally doesn't. By you saying the government saves money, are you saying they go more into debt? That's not saving money.
so explain to me how not spending money on something takes us further into debt.
Not spending on something puts because the overall spending bill, right, is $3.4 trillion to the debt.
Yeah, but that's just the cost of the bill.
Yeah, which is
That
so then if you consider, right, you want to cut people off food stamps to be able to get money, then you care about the budget, right?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the bill is worth what it was paid for. Plus, it helps that you know we cut people off food stamps and Medicaid. Also, food stamps and Medicaid. It's like Medicaid I support because I know healthcare is expensive, but if you can't eat, really, you should work for it.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting that you're advocating to cut people off food stamps and Medicaid. Neither of them are a good revenue mechanism for you to generate
Okay,
funds that the
food
government
food
needs.
stamps is pretty
If
much
you
free
if you
money,
want if
though.
you want to get money, then literally go and specifically uh go cut the Department of Defense. But Donald Trump wants to increase that. Cut ICE, but Donald Trump wants to increase that.
Oh yeah, because we have an immigrant issue. We have a war issue right now.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why does your second pinned video say protesting is so corny, bro? Y'all really grown ass men and women standing around talking about we are women, we are free, or some. Do you not think
Well,
protest? Wait, I have a question. Do you think
No, 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 no.
protesting has been incredibly relevant throughout the context of society in ensuring that you had the freedom to say that?
That video is like purposefully dumb. Like all my responses in the comments are dumb. It's just
What? Are you why would you
like
purposefully post something stupid?
because that's the humor. I don't know. I thought it was funny at the time.
Okay. So
Whatever.
what? What'd you just say?
Anyways, go on. I said F you.
Why?
Are you really gonna get hung up on that?
I mean, I think it's weird to do that
Okay, so you think it's weird to do that. So, why are you against cutting people off food stamps?
because I think people should have food who are in need.
Okay, but it's not, food isn't free. You should have to work for it. Food stamps is pretty much just free money
Do you have
for
a
people who
job?
don't want to work. Do I have a job? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's to say that you get any more indication of where your money goes than me, right? I work. I understand that it takes money, and I'm willing to pay for it. That's the system we live in. Food should be free at the point of service. It might not be free from a governmental perspective, but free at the point of service for people who need it, who can't pay for it. That's the point of
Um,
food stamps. It's the point of having these governmental programs is to ensure a baseline standard of care for every single person in this country. And if you don't care enough about your fellow Americans to ensure that they are basic living standards, then how can you say you're pro-America?
well, you empower them by, forcing them to kind of step out of their comfort zone and actually do what they need to do. Right now, they're pretty weak. That's why we have poor people don't want to work, big drug problem.
So you
But
think starving people more is going to be better?
well, for a certain time it'll suck, and then they'll come out better.
Wow. Wow, no. You think starving people is going to make them better off? That's actually gross, dude. No,
Actually,
it does
history
not make them better off.
proven.
Decreasing the after-tax income for the bottom 20% of income earners does not make them better
Actually,
off.
history
Actually,
suffering is coming better
provide me any
afterwards.
good evidence that cutting people off food stamps gives them better economic standing.
It gives them better economic standing because
Go
they're
ahead,
no
provide a
longer
source. Provide a source.
okay. They would no longer be dependent on basically free money
Can you
anymore.
provide a source?
The source is logic, my friend.
Oh, really? So then I have a question. Would you be better off if there weren't public roads? Would you be better off if there wasn't public education? Would you be better off if there weren't public police, public firefighters? Would you be better off in that context?
No,
So then
but
why are you saying it'd be better specifically just because it's private in this context?
the need for those things would facilitate the creation of those things.
What? You
So,
understand that would be true for all of the things I just mentioned as well, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so then why are you arguing that literally leaving it up to the public, right, is somehow taking away from you in any mean? Making sure that it's accessed publicly is taking away from you in any means.
But food stamps are government provided.
Yeah, so are roads. So is education.
I'm
So
saying
are police.
if those things weren't government provided, they would be people provided. We
You,
stop government
wait, you
providing
understand
food.
that's the same, that's also true if it were referencing all of the other markets I just referenced: education, police,
Yeah,
firefighters,
yeah,
roads. There would be private roads. There'd be private everything. You'd live in a
yeah.
hellhole.
It wouldn't be.
Yes,
Oh
it
my
would. You could
god.
get gouged to the moon, dude.
Well, right
Yeah.
now that's
If you want a fully free market, they could literally vertically and horizontally integrate, and then charge out of the for everything.
mm,
What's stopping a corporation from vertically and horizontally integrating under your worldview?
sorry. Can you repeat that last bit?
Yeah.
It kind of lagged.
What's stopping a company from monopolizing the market vertically integrating and horizontally integrating the market so that they have the entire cost of production right under their control, and in that context, they could specifically then charge whatever they want. What limits them from
Mm,
doing that under your view?
well, yeah, you do need government to monitor certain commodities and the production of those things. I agree with you
Okay.
there.
Okay. So there needs to be antitrust laws, right?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So then what's your point here?
So, in the specific case of food and like food stamps, which is pretty much like money is like the like conversion of work into a physical item you can trade. Giving somebody food stamps for free and having them be dependent on it long term weakens their ability to work for themselves.
Okay, so that's okay. It would weaken your ability to work for yourself if you get public education, if you get public roads, if you get public police, if you get public firefighters. Every single one of
Uh,
those things being provided for you in the public is making you dependent upon the system, and you would be better off
in
specifically if you never
in
got
a
access
way
to it in the
that
first place. If a police officer didn't come to protect you from someone that was trying to unalive you, you'd be better off because then you'd have to pay for it yourself, and then you would get better working conditions specifically so that you can pay for it to ensure.
again, I addressed
Like,
that
is
earlier.
that is that your view?
It's acceptable for certain things. It's not acceptable for
Okay, so then why
others.
don't we say it's not acceptable for this?
For food.
Yes, people should absolutely have access to food. It's unacceptable that they don't have access to food.
So,
It's unacceptable in the
are
richest
you
country in the
saying
history
we
of the world.
should? Are you saying we should give over authority of every thing in our lives to
I'm
the
saying,
government?
how about this? I'm saying every single person in this country should have food.
Okay, I'm saying
Revolutionary
every single
idea,
person
right?
in this country should
Revolutionary
work for
idea. I
food.
know. This is such a crazy radical take. Everyone should eat. Wow. What? No way. Everyone should eat. Whoa. Radical take incoming.
I'm saying everyone should work for their food, man.
Okay, so not everyone should eat. So if someone doesn't work,
Um,
they shouldn't eat.
if someone's not willing to work, then that's the natural consequence.
Oh, so you would be okay with them starving to death?
That was the case before modern
When you
day
say
for a
natural
long.
consequence, what was the natural consequence for disabled people?
Before we were able to help them, the natural consequence would be that they would. A lot of cultures just killed
So
them.
natural consequence is not a determination of how you should treat people in society. The natural consequences for things are oftentimes incredibly horrible. Like for example, the natural consequence of cancer for often a lot of people is like for example, my grandpa died of cancer, right? The natural consequence of cancer was for him. So explain to me
Okay,
why you would
so
say that the natural consequence of something should determine how we should treat people?
so should so food stamps should only be given to those not able to work, but not willing to work is a choice. It's a natural consequence of a
Anyone in this
choice.
country should eat, regardless of whether or not they work themselves.
Do you so like what I'm saying is it's the natural consequence of their choice. So they should receive that. A person who is disabled should have help by the rest of society to essentially erase the disability by compensating for it. You know, you help them get food that they can't get on their own. But a person who's perfectly able and they're just like, I don't feel like working, I don't want to work, I'd rather go on food stamps, I'd rather go on
I'll ask you
benefits.
this question: Your kid's 19 years old, right? And you are not alive anymore to take care of them. They have
Mhm.
no money, and they decide not to work. Do you think they should starve?
I think I don't think they will starve to death. I
No,
think
no. I have
they'll
a
get
question. Do you think they should starve? Right? If it is the case, society doesn't provide them food.
if it's assuming it's fully their choice, they can work and they choose not
Yep.
to, then yeah, they should.
You'd be okay with your kids starving to death.
I would be very sad that they would choose that.
Why wouldn't you just say you want a society that makes sure everyone is given food, dude? I'm sorry, food is not that much of the budget. Food is not that much of the budget. This is an insane take for no reason. This is seriously like, dude, are you okay? Why would you be okay with that?
I don't think it's that insane of a take.
Yes, it is. To say that other people should starve because it is the case that they don't work is
MAGA hates
insane.
taking care of other people is insane.
Yeah, I want to take care of other people because I live in a society. If you don't want to take care of other people, go live in the middle of the woods. I'm serious. Go live in the middle of the woods if you don't want to take care of other people. We live in society, bro. We live in a society. So if
So
we live in a society, we've got to take care of people within that society. What's the point of an economy? To ensure everyone's taken care of. Now we can incentivize people to work, but we shouldn't be incentivizing people to work by saying they will starve. They won't.
that's the
Ridiculous.
only
Ridiculous.
incentive to
No, it's not. It
work.
is not the only incentive to work.
Besides fulfillment of a certain activity like
Wait,
that you like. Yeah.
I don't just work because I won't eat otherwise. What?
Wait, so
Even,
if so,
wait,
what would happen to you?
if the government was
Wait, wait,
going to
wait, 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 wait,
listen,
wait, wait,
listen,
wait.
I'll
So
explain.
if you
I'll
stopped
explain.
working, what would happen to you?
If the government was going to provide me food regardless of whether or not I worked, I would still work.
And and
Why?
so
Why? Because I care about other things in my life. There's
so
other things than
hypothetically,
just food.
so if you didn't care that, wait, that's survival though. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So we want to ensure base level survival for everyone, right? You don't want people starving to death on the street, do you?
If somebody refuses to do what they need to do to get food and they suffer the
Oh,
consequence
good.
in
So
their body of not having
so
food.
you'd be okay if your kid, while walking to street or walking to school, right in the morning, walks past someone and they just due to starving to death on the street. You'd be okay with them having to
Okay.
walk past someone who died due to starvation.
Okay, so
So
if
that's the society that you want to teach your kid about how to how to treat people. That's what you want to teach your kid. That's exactly what I mean. What type of society do you want for your children? What type of society do you want for people around you
I'm not
to
saying
learn from?
personally
To be
each
like, oh,
person should avoid.
this society actually cares for me. This society actually wants to
Hold on.
provide for me and be there for me. I think that's an incredibly important aspect that will get people to go out and want to support their society. Is that their society themselves is looking out for them. You are advocating for a society where no one looks out for each other. What type
No,
of
no, no,
humanity
no.
is that? What type of empathy, compassion, and dignity is that you're giving to people?
So,
Are you
so
pro
two
life?
people walking down, a
Are
person
you pro
walking down the
life?
street,
Are you pro life?
except for like, the R word and like,
So he's pro life.
unlawful conception
So
basically.
you're pro life?
And it's,
Wait. So I'm confused. Why do they have an obligation to sustain the pregnancy? The fetus doesn't want to work.
it will one day, hopefully.
Well, it's not working. So
A 5-year-old
I
doesn't work, so we 5-year-olds. What's
well,
the moral obligation to hold up a 5-year-old?
I believe that moral obligation exists. I was asking you under your position. Ask yourself that question,
So,
buddy. I'm serious. Because you just said the moral obligation doesn't exist as soon as they turn 18.
okay, did I not clarify earlier those who can't work should be taken care of? A
Okay.
5-year-old can't work, a fetus can't work.
Okay, so 14-year-olds, should they have to work?
If they shouldn't have to, if they
Because you're
can't.
saying can work.
I A 14-year-old should probably have the opportunity, but it's assumed they can't because of school and not being big enough.
Okay, so you don't think that they're old enough where they should have to do that?
I don't think they should. I don't
So
think
it's
they
not
should
about
have to
so
until
it's
they're
not
adult.
about whether or not they can, right?
I don't think a 14-year-old can fully sustain the same job responsibilities as a full-grown adult now.
Sure, you could say
Maybe
that
partially.
you could say that they can't sustain to the same degree, but it is possible for kids that are 14 years old to do that, and yet we still think it's wrong because it's child
What
labor.
I what I'm saying is, well, yeah, it is wrong because of child labor, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like the difference between an adult and a 14-year-old is so much that a 14-year-old basically can't.
Wait, well, I'm confused.
It it's like such a difference that it's the same as a 14-year-old not being able to.
No, the reason why I'm asking you is to essentially be like, what are the conditions in which you specifically would say that someone should still be taken care of even though they don't work? Is it that they have the ability to, right? Or is it going to be that you want everyone to be taken care of regardless? Because I think that you'd want a society where everyone's taken care of regardless. I have a question.
No, I
18,
want a society where everyone is dependent on themselves.
that's not reality.
That was reality
So
for a
that's
long
not how
time.
societies function.
That's the
Wait, I'm
reality
sorry.
for
I'm
like pretty
sorry.
much every
I have a
animal.
question. Do you go and get the water that you drink?
But I work to pay the water bill.
Oh, okay. So you live in a society and you're dependent upon other people who get access to water, right? So that you can
But
drink
not for free.
water.
But not for free. That work is
But you do other things.
converted into
That
money.
okay, well
I'm gonna
listen to
have to
this.
pay it.
Well listen to this. That's how society functions.
Yeah.
You're
Oh my
dependent
gosh, that's
listen.
almost like what I said, bro.
No, it's not. You're
I'm not
dependent.
dependent on them. They're not giving it to me for
Yes,
free,
you
bro.
are. Yes, you are. You're dependent upon them because if they didn't provide the water, you wouldn't have water to drink. So you are dependent upon them. It's dependency on each other. Everyone's dependent upon each other within society. That's how society functions and works. Is that we are dependent upon each other in order for society to continue to function.